Last time I was in here, Emily was out with a bad foot. I found a bunch of promos, so let's check it out. All right, we're back at Valpo Vintage, which is downtown Valparaiso. Last time I was in here, I found some good promos. It looks like they reorganized it. Maybe there's some new stuff. I usually give it about a month to turn over. And so let's see what they got. All right, they have a small but respectable little 45 section. And I would say the same for the LPs. I pulled a good Beach Boys out of here a couple of trips ago. And I usually try to get in here about once a month. So with vinyl, it's hit or miss. And a lot of these antique stores, you know, they'll either throw it out there if they got it, or they'll just tell you, oh, we don't got it. A nice Jerry Butler LP right there. One of the Impressions. Whoop, Bradley. That's pretty wild. Dad used to listen to him. Like, look at this, just a whole stack. So probably like Elvis. I got Elvis this time. The main reason I was there was those promos, but they were all country western, so they didn't have a lot of value. But to me, I'm thinking long term, those could be some of the last surviving cuts. If those master tapes have been lost and that never got pressed into a regular release, some of those green label promos are all that's left. So that's what I'm looking for, especially if they have the matching company sleeve. So there's quite a few RCAs and a lot of Nashville stuff. So you're seeing your Dolly Partons, your Porter Wagner, your Chet Atkins, your Chris Christophersons, your Waylon Jennings, and then a whole slew of no-names that never made it. So those are sometimes the rare ones, though, the guys that never made it big. So you got MCA, you've got Epic, you've got some smaller label subsidiaries of RCA. Or Tennessee is not that far from Indianapolis, where a lot of those RCA records were pressed, and a lot of radio stations were down there. Look at that nice combo sleeve there. Wow. Like, this is typical, though. RCA with the green RCA subsidiary cap. So we're pulling those as we see them. Hell, I would have bought every one of them. I probably should have. Just made them an offer on the whole box. But there was a lot of junk in there, too. But mainly going for these green and white label promos with the matching company sleeve. And no, I'm not going to say birth sleeve, DJ. I know that's driving you nuts, so I will not say birth sleeve. When I think of country music, I think of being a kid and going up in northern Michigan where FM radio really hadn't penetrated the market yet. So we were still listening to AM radio, and it was on a small little, maybe 3 to 4 inch speaker tabletop radio from across the room. And I remember, well, Kenny Rogers, You Picked a Fine Time to Leave Me, Lucille. I remember watching Hee Haw on a black and white television set. My dad loved Roy Clark. I don't remember Willie Nelson as a kid. I remember him getting big in the late 70s. But I certainly remember, like, Ray Price helped me make it through the night. Glenn Campbell, of course, was huge. And Buck Owens, I remember being on Hee Haw with Roy Clark. So, you know, I don't remember Act Naturally. I learned about that song from the Beatles. But it was sort of cool when I found out the Beatles liked Buck Owens, too. And a lot of people called country music corny back then. And I spent about a year listening to Willie's Roadhouse on Sirius XM. I'll tell you what, those are some of the greatest songs ever written. And they cut right to the truth in a lot of cases. So, yeah, I love old school country. I love some of the new bluegrass, alternative country, if you call it, or Americana. Yeah, some of the sappy rhinestone bubblegum country, don't really care for. But I like that old school stuff. So I think it's going to be just a matter of time before the Americana movement really zeroes in on these pioneers. When Willie dies, I think, what is he, 99 years old? I think people are going to look back and say, where did he come from? And how did he get there? And some of these records are going to gain value. Right now, a lot of these are $3 or $4 records. And that's okay. They're in mint condition, a lot of them, or very good plus. So I'm going to pick up as many of these as I possibly can. It's like, okay, you know, you're going to knock them out. We're checking out here at Valpo Vintage, or sometimes I call it Vintage Valpo. Either way, you get the idea. Emily's back, the foot is healing. I came back to get some of these country records. Basically, they're not worth a lot now, but, you know, maybe down the road they will be. So I'm making what I feel is a fair offer. Emily's crunching the numbers, and hopefully we'll get out of here some vinyl. All right, I got out of there with about 145s, and she gave me 20% off, and I'm gonna look at them. I think they're pretty good, Valpo Vintage. And the thing about it is a lot of them are in company sleeves and they're promos. They're country though. If they were soul or blues or jazz, this would be a box of $500. So there was a bunch of Elvis reissues. I'm not sure on the value of those, but I picked them up anyways at RCA Gold series. So we'll total them up and see what it's worth. I just wonder what you could do with vinyl records besides play them. Check this out.
What's that called? Wow,
My daughter gave it to me. Pretty cool. That's a 33 1/3 LP.
what's that key?
Right, Elvis is in the house. Why? Because we went back to Vintage Valpo in search of those country promos that I featured a couple episodes earlier, but I ran into a batch of these RCA reissue Elvis, and I just couldn't say no. So what's sort of cool, they all have the recorded date, and they have a number, so that's the 6012, which is interesting. I don't think the numbering system's perfect, so it chronologically sort of walks you through. Recorded in 1956. Most of them have an exact date. Love Me Tender, Any Way You Want Me. Okay, so that's the first one in the series. Shake, Rattle, and Roll, recorded February 6, 1956 with Lottie Miss Claudine. That's a great song, man. Lloyd Price's version is good, but I love Elvis's version. I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. April 11th, 1956. That was his breakout year. And by now he's with RCA. But these are all reissues, but they're just mint. They're like mint. They've never been played. So I just picked them all up. Here you go. Recorded July 2nd, 1956. Don't Be Cruel. And this is backed with Hound Dog. I mean, it's just a great... It's not the original release, I realize that. But it's just great to pick up as sort of a... You know, you could just load up a jukebox with half of these and you would just have it covered. Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, recorded 1957. Some of these are getting into his movie era, but all on the RCA Gold Standard series. In Loving You on the B side on that one. All Shook Up, recorded. There you go. Tilt this up a little bit. Recorded January 12, 1957. Writing credit, Otis Blackwell and Elvis Presley. Wasn't Otis Blackwell the bass player? Could be wrong. That's When the Heartaches Begin. There you go. I got to repeat it. It was so good I got it twice. One Night I Got Stung. One Night I Got Stung. Two of those. Jailhouse Rock, recorded June 14th, 1957. And Treat Me Nice, also on the same day. Boy, he was good that day. And it's just sort of a historical document when you get all these in series. You know how long it would take you to collect the originals and what kind of shape? These are all mint. So I think they were just dropped off at a radio station. There's Jailhouse Rock again. Jailhouse Rock. I thought about going back and putting them according to their issue number. I was trying to do it chronologically by when they were released. Now, Hard Headed Woman, 1958. Don't Ask Me Why. I Need Your Love Tonight. We're getting into the late 50s. And I'm not an Elvis expert, but I love this song, Stuck on You. I'm going to stick like glue because I'm stuck on you. That's a great song right there. You could take a simple song and make it great. It's Now or Never. And this one's got that great little samba salsa beat. I think this is right when he got back from the Army, but I could be wrong. Doesn't have a date on this one. A Mess of Blues is just a throwback, sort of a bluesy. It is a mess of blues. It's a great song, though. Are You Lonesome Tonight, right? Does he do the talking part in the studio version, or was that just the live? Because there's a live version where he screws up the talking part. But I think he does. I think every version has the talking part. And that's really makes the song. Are You Lonesome Tonight, right? So Can't Help Falling in Love. I mean, these are just classic, timeless songs, you know. And with the Jordanaires. So a lot of them are credited with the Jordanaires. From Blue Hawaii, Rockahula Baby. Can't Help Falling in Love. Another copy. She's Not You. Boy, that's a good song, too. She's everything, but she's not you. Just Tell Her Jim Said Hello. Return to Sender, man. Help me out on this one. Does Bobby Keys play on that? The Rolling Stones saxophone player? I think he did play on Return to Sender. I don't know why I remember that from somewhere. Bobby Keys, the best rock and roll saxophonist out there, in my opinion. Played with everybody. Played with George Harrison, played with the Rolling Stones. I think he played with Billy Preston. Probably Eric Clapton too. But Return to Sender, check that out. Suspicion. I think Terry Stafford does a version of that. Also a good version. But look at these. They're all mint condition. Devil in Disguise, man. 1963. And backed with, I mean, he's still having hits, right? Puppet on a String. Got two of those. If I Can Dream. Now he's getting into sort of his crooner era. I don't see what, it doesn't have a date on that one. How Great Thou Art. My mom loved this song. Elvis could sing the phone book. 1966. Started going back to his spiritual roots. He'll Never Walk Alone. Once again, rubbernecking. Still trying to be relevant and keep it fun. Kentucky Rain. Yeah, is that a writing credit for, is that Eddie Rabbitt? As in, I Love the Rainy Nights. Driving My Life Away. Is that a writing credit for Eddie Rabbitt? That would be a good trivia question there. I'm not sure. I see stuff like this all the time. That's what I like about 45. So there's a lot of information on the label that you don't necessarily pay attention to. The LPs, you're looking at the gatefold. In the Ghetto. Now, social commentary by Elvis. So he's not ignorant of the times. Any Day Now, it's a great song. But In the Ghetto was a big hit, and Elvis was getting Suspicious Minds, man. That was a big comeback hit. January 23rd, 1969. Backed with You'll Think of Me. So there you go. Fine Young Cannibals had a great version of Suspicious Minds. Let's sped it up a little bit. Kentucky Rain, once again. The American Trilogy. This was big. It's a little bit slow and very patriotic. So there you go. Elvis. Moody Blue was the last one. 1976, man. He died in 77, right? So there you go. Now, what really caught my eye, though, was a lot of these promos. Bill Anderson, white promo. Matching record, matching sleeve. These RCA Victors, with the promo sleeve. One guy said they could have destroyed the master tapes because some of these did not have a regular release, which means, okay, Whitey Schaefer, the promo was sent to the radio station. It probably didn't even get paid. Most of these are like in mint or near mint condition. So if the masters got destroyed, then I'm sitting here with a rare recording. Who knows? Mel Tillis. Now, I'm pretty sure that Mel had a pretty nasty stutter, but not when he sang. If I'm thinking of the same guy, radio station copy, Cap Records, Cap Company sleeve, C&W, that's country and western. So these are probably all sent to the same radio station. We did an issue on these, or episode a few months ago, and so I went back and picked up all the leftover ones. Even some guy goes, "You need to have those," and I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So everyone I could find that was a promo. And look at these chart records. You got the Nashville, distributed by RCA, Nashville address. Just great condition. Wave Bye-Bye to the Man by LaWanda Lindsay. Ray Price. And Nightlife, that's a great song. He's got a whole album named Nightlife, Ray Price. The shame of it, pay no attention to this value. I didn't pay that. I paid less than $1 for this. Ray Price Nightlife, the album, it's either recorded live or meant to sound like it's recorded live in a nightclub. But it's great. Now, who wrote Nightlife? None other than Willie Nelson. With some other guys, too. But it's a great song about sort of living the country life. Hard Times by Otto Stevens. I don't even know half of these guys. Jimmy Rogers Blues by Elton Britt. The only other Elton I know is Elton John. Bill Mack, Drinking Champagne. And this will easily come off with a little lighter fluid. Put it on the end of this thing right here. Give it a swab, and believe it doesn't leave a stain. You'll be able to pick that right off with a pair of tweezers. But look at that Cap record with the Cap record sleeve and a white label radio station copy promo and mint condition. You don't get those very often. I think they started to price them, and then they said, forget it. And they got lazy, and the rest of them they just didn't price. United Artists with United Artists sleeve. Hang on one second. Back at it. Promo. United Artists. Promo. RCA Victor. Some of these titles, the dark end of the street, Beach Red. Drinking Champagne. Sort of these are country songs. A love song for you. Hank Lachlan. Julie. There's always some missing girl or poor little paper boy. Congressman Richard Fulton. There was actually a politician that did that one. Piney Wood Hills by Bobby Bear. Bobby Bear made it big. Got some great sort of comedy songs. Ed Bruce, If I Could Just Go Home. Maybe he's a truck driver, who knows? But look at the RCA Victor with the matching record. Cap Records. It's My Mind That's Broken. So these guys are crying in their beer and out on the road. Hank Williams Jr. If that was Hank Williams on the MGM, that would be a very expensive record. Not so much Hank Jr., but I like Hank Jr. Oh, the old Ryman is in the Ryman Theater, right? In special disc jockey record with the MGM sleeve. Some Modern Willie. I threw that in there. Saw it. I picked it up. Always on my mind. In all of me. From the Stardust. If you want to just get like Willie Nelson, especially for my UK fans, like how do people like Willie Nelson? Get the Stardust album. It's all the jazz standards that Willie gives him his treatment, but who arranged most of it is Booker T, from Booker T and the MGs. So if you want to just cut your teeth on Willie Nelson, maybe you can understand him or get him, pick up the Stardust album. And the song Stardust, to me, is one of the best songs of all time. written by none other than Indiana's own Hoagie Carmichael. So it's a great song. Some just Dowdle sisters. Who are these people? George Hamilton, the fifth, the fourth. There you go. Charlie Pride. He had a big career. Elton Britt shows up again. So I couldn't say no to these matching. And the shame of it is these don't have a lot of value. Jake Hess. I just feel they have collector value. Don Gibson. I love him. I love his voice. Also written by, well, not Nelson, Melson. I'm the Male She's Waiting For by George Owens. Willie Nelson, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. That's a big one. Carlene Carter, or Charlie Carter, okay. I don't know if it's part of the Carter family, but it's a music core of a matching company sleeve. ABC Matching Company Sleeve by C.W. Mitchell. So you can't say no to this stuff. That's why I bought them. Johnny Duncan, Columbia Matching Sleeve. Acorn, double lines, DJ copy. It's got an address on it, Cincinnati, Ohio. Very small label right there. Acres of Diamonds by Arnie Lunsford and the Ranch Hands. Norma Jean, You Changed Everything About Me But My Name. Uh-oh. Maybe they didn't get married, right? A Pal of Mine. Good Times by Willie Nelson. What's the B-side? Don't ever get tired of hurting me. Boy, these guys like to wallow in their pain. Willie Nelson, Little Things. Label's a little bit messed up. I'll Stay Around is the B-side on that one. So that's what I got. I just picked up all of these. And I'll pick a gem. David Frizzell, Jim Nesbitt, Danny Hutton. Some oddball stuff. Some Foreigner there. Juanita Jones. Matching sleeve. Painted Girls and Wine. Boy, Ed Bruce. Tommy Hunter. June Shearns. Johnny Duncan. Columbia. There's a Bird's Tambourine Man. We got some 60s there. Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton. They did a lot of duets together. The Last Thing on My Mind. B-side is Love Is Worth. This is a great record. That is his best. Jerry Reed had that redneck voice that he sort of sang it, and it's so awesome. You know, she got the gold mine, and I got the shaft. He's talking about a divorce, and he just talks your way through it. It's one of the best storytelling Southern. I don't even know how to describe it. It is good. If you're not in the country, just trust me. Cupid by Johnny Nash out of this genre. D-Train. And the last one was Carla Thomas. So she recorded for Stax. So anytime you see her, Rufus, I think Rufus was her dad. Pick them up. All right, there you go. Vintage Valpo Vintage. Went back, picked them up. And that made a nice little collection. We'll pick a gem out of that. And we'll wrap up this episode. Rockmine is the name of the show. Every Friday at noon. You can check us out and subscribe if you hit that little button. And you can check out all these records because I post them all on the Discogs site. And you can buy one if you want. There you go. All right. Elvis was hidden amongst the country records. He was certainly in the house. So we're going to pick a gem, maybe even some gems of the week. But I tell you what, that Southern cooking is good stuff. Okay, this week we have not a gem of the week, we have gems of the week, and it's this whole Elvis RCA Gold Standard series. Now, if you're metal detecting and you found a bunch of coins in one spot, you would call it a cache, but this was a cache of records. And I'm talking about everything from the beginning to the middle to the end. All these great Elvis songs, All Shook Up, Jailhouse Rock, all these great ones, One Night. Look at that, Mess of Blues, Can't Help Falling in Love. Yes, they're reissues. I didn't care. These things are only worth about $2 or $3 a piece. But I have an all-in-one, one-stop shopping Elvis collection. Value on these are about $110. I probably paid 25 cents a piece for them. So I'm taking them, I'm running with them, and that's our gem of the week, Elvis Presley.